We have episode 4 of the Bushwalkers Footy Show. Sorry we didn't post one on Sunday after the Nines. We were a little bit worse for wear after that weekend. I know that I sure was. And sorry that this is on a Saturday morning, not the Friday of typical that we said we were going to be doing. But, just flat out. We had some merch come in yesterday, some designs, practice shirts. So we were doing that yesterday of. And, we'll start off with the Nines.
So wrap up of the Nines. Gander obviously took out the winning game of the day, getting over Wondai by a pretty big margin by the end of it.
It was a very surprising score in that grand final, seeing as their game during the day was 8-4.
That's right, it was quite close.
And then I think at the end of the day, Wondai just had too many big fellas, a few little niggling injuries. Gander were a bunch of young, fit lads. Could run 100 metres 30 times if you asked them to, and that's what they did.
I think the only forward they had was that Liam Kenny, really, in that Gander side. Like, big, sizable forward was Liam, so which is a pretty smart way to go into Nines. Same as Mandubra. Like, they're going to be a gun-hot 13 side, but just obviously too big for Nines. When you have them other little whipper teams.
Yeah, a lot of teams turned up with some new forwards trying to look to see how they'd go, how they'd go together. But Gander, they must have heard us saying that they were a bit disappointed the last couple of years when they turned up. They just turned up with the side for Nines. They said 2 props and 18 wingers. That'll win it.
Well, I suppose they were runners up last year against Sherberg, so Sherberg did just tip them at the post, so it's probably just reward for them.
And then the time before that, they lost in the semis. So they've gone semis, lose the final, win the final.
Yeah.
So. And hopefully they don't win that for the next 8 years. I'm sure there'd be nothing better.
Yeah. And touching on Gander, we had a really good chat to Rob after the Nines. We got to actually officially meet him and apologise for stamping him as a Mandubra man. But no, it was really good. Rob's a good bloke, so got some intel there, and we've locked in. We're going to head to those guys on the 3rd of April.
Yeah, they're real keen. They're real keen on having us there. I talked to a lot of those Gander fellas at the Orange.
Yeah.
That night. And, it was a real good bunch of blokes. They all want to get around it, which is what we want.
Yeah.
And hopefully once they start doing it, everyone else jumps on board.
Yeah, so hopefully I think we'll aim towards these training sessions going a bit closer to when season starts. We don't want to go too hard now in pre-season and then got nowhere to go while the season's on. So that's cool. We'll probably be chilling a bit.
Yeah, there's plenty of clubs, plenty of round weeks to go. So
yep.
And then what we were saying before, why we didn't film yesterday, merch. We have a couple designs coming in, a couple just plain shirts like this, but in the actual cream.
In the cream, yeah. This is the khaki. So this is just a little mock-up one to see what size we wanted the logo, where we wanted it.
How the sizing is going to look.
Yep.
We're finalising designs on hats. They're going to be coming sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Bucket hats would be within the month, I think. Nice cream ones.
And stubby coolers have been flying off the shelves. Everyone wants one. So when you see the Bush Popper stubby cooler getting about, ask for one, because we'll probably be there selling them. We'll be the ones holding them.
Yeah, so, good. Let's about wrap up on merch. Exciting stuff ahead. Everything we posted to our stories, as was the coolers. So, that's right. And into the next bit of merch, we seen Central Burnett were advertising their battalion spots for sponsorship. And obviously we had a fantastic time at the Nines on Saturday by Mandubra, and we've got a few little connections at Central Burnett with Melinda, so we thought, why not? We've jumped on that one, so we're going to be on the Bush Boppers, are going to be on the sleeve of their battalion jersey.
It's going to look real good whether we put the cream badge on the red of their jersey or put the maroon badge on the white. It's going to look very, very nice. It's going to stand out. People will see it. We'll get some interviews with the boys after games. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to be playing for the NDRL side. Ian's already swooped me up there, but that's just more content I can get with the NDRL boys.
Yeah.
But we can get around the CBRL boys and get some interviews.
I think that'll be good. Battalion, that'll be a good weekend because it's only in Bundy, so not far for us. Finally.
See if we can get a HKH for all the rep boys. That'd be...
Try and do some stuff.
That'd be unreal. We'll get a hat. We'll get hats going for that one.
Yeah, over the battalion weekend, get amongst some real big dogs. Probably big dogs.
Get that big fella from Toowoomba to have a right. Easy
Yeah, so that's it. So more from the sponsorship will come. I think Central Burnett were doing their announcements in the coming days, so they'll probably cover that and then we'll just reshare it. And with our sponsorship, we're probably going to get amongst their trainings, get a lot of content, a lot of inside interviews with their coaches. They've got a gun coaching staff and team staff, so that'll be really good. So we're keen for that.
And while we're talking about it, we'll cover the rest of the battalion.
Mm.
And there's been a few changes this year. Well, this year it's in Bundaberg, as we know it goes from area to area. But they're trying out a new system where they're going to have Pool A and Pool B. So fellas that when they come off their week on of work up north or out west or whatever, they don't have to get on a bus and then go play Sunny Coast to have 10 Q Cup players and 300 games of Q Cup experience. They get to go play
That's
against
right.
other fellas that come off work.
So if you're new to 47 Battalion, what it is basically, I think we're the Central Queensland catchment, and it's like all the rep teams. Basically, every competition should have their own rep team. So Central Burnett, Northern Districts, Bundaberg, Western Downs, Toowoomba, Sunshine Coast, everyone has their own rep team, and they all meet together for this 47th Battalion Carnival. And then from there, there's a winner. Then from there, they play the winners of the North one and like down Brisbane. It's really big rep carnival that goes. It's over 3 nights and 4 days. Oh no, yeah.
And the way it's been working the last couple of years is there's only ever been 8 teams, and the 4 teams that finished the top 4, their first game, they play the bottom 4 teams, and they just win by 60.
Yeah.
They win by 70, flog fellas.
In other years, there's poor old Western Downs, which is a huge catchment around Roma, or Outback, I think now, yeah. They sort of always having to play Falcons or Toowoomba, and they just get absolutely pumped in the first game. And unfortunately, it's sort of if you lose your first game, you're out.
Yeah, they're not bad fellas. They're just playing against blokes that are playing Q Cup.
Yeah.
And are getting paid a lot of money to play football. These fellas have their regular 9 to 5. Some of these fellas can live on the money they make on foot.
And they have a women's division as well, and it always is sort of same thing. Like Wide Bay, their catchment's massive compared to Falcons and Clydesdales, who have been training for months, for example.
They all know each other. They've all been playing for 5 or 6 years.
They've been training for months and months, and then you have Wide Bay, who are picked 3 weeks before a carnival and expected to go and compete.
Some people are still introducing themselves at the game. So
basically,
competitively, if all these other teams were able to train as much as Falcons and Rocky and Toowoomba, then they probably would.
I think teams would be more keen to do it knowing that. Yeah. Like they'll be more keen to have a go. If you're in the Pool B, if you win that many games, you can still win it. So it's not like Pool A is the only comp and Pool B. You can still win it from the bottom pool. I think you just have to win like your first couple games to then be able to win the final.
It might be a relegation system.
I think
if you win Pool B, you get put into Pool A instead of the one that loses Pool A.
Yeah, it would have to. Otherwise, the last team would have no point.
But then I heard you might have to play the loser of Pool A if you're the winner of Pool B to get put into Pool A.
Yeah.
So if Bundy were to come last in Pool A and Central Burnett come first in Pool B, they have to play each other to swap. Yeah. It's not automatic swap.
We're not pretending we know how it's working, but assuming that should be how it goes. And there's the plate final, unless they're just doing 2 different things. And that's going to be the plate pool. That's going to be the...
Well, that's why we have Fact Check Friday. Yeah. So next week, if we've gotten that completely wrong, give us a ring.
Someone who knows what's happening, just tell us, because we could have got it wrong. But assumably, common sense would say that's how you'd run it.
It's going to be good because all these Pool A is obviously going to be Toowoomba, Sunshine Coast, Rockhampton, and Bundaberg, the four biggest comps, and then Pool B is going to be Western Downs, Central Highlands, Central Burnett's having a team in the battalion for the first time in a long time. NDRL the same. So there's not going to be Burnett Brahmins anymore. Those 3 areas have split into Central Burnett, Northern Districts, and then I believe Western Downs is a team.
Aren't they called like Outback something? Roma and them, aren't they like country outbacks or?
Country, I think that's
Outback Wranglers or something. Oh,
Southwest Outback or something.
Yeah.
Gladstone, I believe, having a team.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 7.
Remember last year the NDRL players were told to go and play for that Gladstone team.
Yeah.
So the Pool B. Well, you never know. They might put more in Pool A. Pool A and B won't be equal if it's going to be 4.
I'm fairly certain Pool B is going to be 8 teams, and every game's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, which will be good for once, because you usually go to battalion, you see the draw and go, oh my God. Especially if you're a team that has just rocked up, you don't know anyone. Oh, great, we're playing Toowoomba straight up.
Well, some of those fellas in those teams out there, they live 6 hours apart. They can't train together.
Yeah, that's right. So should be good. I'm excited. That's on the weekend in June.
First weekend of June.
6th and 7th of June, I'm pretty sure, in Bundaberg. So that'll be good. If you haven't got around any of your teams or your team staff still looking, it's a great weekend of football if you're from a team staff perspective. There's heaps of, like when you go and have your meals together, and it's just a really exciting weekend for footy. So that'll be good.
And Bundaberg's a good place to be. Might be able to sneak off to the beach if you have some time.
And everyone, obviously, there's no comp footy on that weekend. It's a full buy for all senior comp. So if you have nothing to do, that would be the place to be on that weekend.
Looking for a weekend off,
Yeah, good weekend of footy. So moving from Central Burnett Brumbies, we're going to Central Burnett Draw. So Central Burnett released their draw on Thursday or Friday.
We posted it.
We posted it to our stories. We haven't had an in-depth look. We'll do that next week, an in-depth go round for round, but lots of like theme rounds.
Yes, there's
Like-
the Citrus Cup.
I love that about the Central Burnett, and nearly, every second weekend. I'm pretty sure Bigoton get the Anzac weekend game.
We do.
So that'll be exciting. It's not a commemorative game or anything, but that'll be a good thing to get a hold of. Get a big crowd there.
I feel like that's what keeps the interest in the Central Burnett because juniors isn't
Yeah.
a massive thing there.
Yeah. Well, on the contrary, they're growing.
The
So
juniors
last
are
year,
growing.
again, could be wrong, but last year I think it was only 6, 8s, 10s, maybe 12s. This year they've got 12s and 14s.
Oh, that's good. That's good. They're getting these kids to stick
Yeah,
around.
because it used to be, obviously, if you have a home game, you're not going to play seniors at 1 o'clock because you want to make as much money as you can in the bar canteen. So it was always juniors first, massive break before seniors at, 3:30 or 4:30. So adding the 12s and 14s will
Yeah.
be good.
Bit more footy
Yeah.
on the weekends. It's always tough when you don't have 6s all the way through to under 18s in your comp because these fellas they play 14s. Where do they go from there? They've got to go to Bundaberg to play 16s, or they've got to go even further north.
Yeah.
Some of them come to the South Burnett.
And if you're someone that lives in Eisvold or Monto, you're not driving to Bundy or Wandai to play.
And unless you're making state teams and rep teams, some kids just go, well, I'm going to go play cricket. I'm going to go play something else.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's good. That's good that they have all those event
Yeah.
weekends because that creates interest on 17-year-olds
Yeah.
that are around
And
the
I
Central
think-
Burnett.
I don't know if Bigoton don't have juniors, so I don't know if they get any weekends with juniors.
I think they have younger juniors.
Maybe younger ones.
A lot of their kids play for Childers.
Yes. So they're obviously not going to make Monto play Mandubra and juniors in Bigoton. So again, very common sense draw where everyone works around everyone. But there's the Pioneer Shield, McDonald's Shield, Citrus Cup, the Anzac weekend. It's just huge. Gonna be huge. So I love it. We put it on our story, but we'll do an actual post about it and get that up.
And beyond the round, the set round events are every club. If you go to Eidesville for a home game, it's probably their sponsors' day.
That's
Or
right.
it's
Everyone
their
has their
ladies'
own
day.
days in it. Yeah, exactly.
So when you go somewhere and there's something going on every
Yeah.
time, it's
Yeah.
always a big weekend no matter where you go.
Yeah, double headers. Always know double headers work better than single standalone A grade games. It's good. So positive. What are we in? March draws out.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Draws out early.
Yep.
Everyone knows what they're doing. You can plan around it.
Dates are locked in, so that's good. Childers trial.
Is next weekend.
Childers v Mandubra, 22nd of March at the Furnace.
Kimber's going to have mixed feelings about that. I'm sure he's going to be wearing the orange, but
Yeah.
he loves the Childers boys.
Yeah. I think it'll be good. It was supposed to be today. If you didn't know, it's been changed due to a lot of players from both sides making their cricket grand final today. So,
Yeah, so they just moved it one weekend so everyone could play, which is smart.
which is good.
Because you don't want to go to a trial with 14 each. You don't get anything out of it. Fellas get hurt.
Yeah, that's right.
You want to have at least 20.
So that'll be good. That'll be exciting. Day of
And-
the Furnace.
Speaking of trials, Bigoton's first home game in 6.5 years versus Wandai.
Which is another reason, good or better reason, that Childers trial did end up getting moved because we're going to be pressed for time. I think Childers was 4:30 or 4 o'clock, and the Bigoton game today is 5:30. So
Yeah,
it
the
would have
original plan was I was going to get to probably the third quarter of the Childers trial and then
been
head over
yeah.
to Bigoton.
But
now
even
we
better.
get to cover both of them. Easy as.
Yeah, so Bigoton trial, 5:30 kickoff this afternoon.
Quietly confident. The boy,
Yeah.
we're still very rusty around the edges. We haven't been able to train with big numbers too many times. It's not a twice a week thing. There's fellas working in and away, but everyone was there last night, hence the Friday night
Yeah.
trainings. We had 23 players, and
Yeah.
I think only 4 of them. One Lua was injured, and a couple other fellas
Yeah.
were just hadn't finished signing up, or they were going somewhere
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Tommy
So
Dutton, he wasn't there.
yeah, old Tommy Dutton, unfortunately, but yeah, we're going looking like having 18, 19.
Team run looked good.
And even
Yep.
even old big Matty Curtis is looking like he's going to have a
Yeah,
run.
Matty Curtis put his hand up to, running the centres, boys, I'll cover it.
Oh, he
Yeah.
fucking moved himself to hooker pretty quickly. He loves it.
Yeah. No, but that's exciting. So, like we said in the earlier shows, we don't have a huge amount to do with what behind the scenes of Bigoton, but we were there, from the start when all the talks and rumours started happening about Bigoton getting a team, and went to a few of their meetings. So I think it's going to be for us, we feel very full circle, and we only have had a little bit to do with it. So we can't imagine
how these people
the
have been
likes
trying to
of
do
Trish
it for 4
and
years.
and the sponsors and everyone in the committee and the coaching staff. And when we pulled up yesterday, I said, "What the fuck?" There was like 45 people there. I said, "What is everyone doing here?" And it was canteen merch, getting
Line
the field
marking,
prep, line marking, setting up the grandstand, banging in the bar post, putting up all the flags.
No one was doing anything by himself. There was numbers everywhere. It was great.
Such a community.
I think it's going to be a very emotional and surreal feeling for some of the ex-Biggerton players, the old fellas that played last time there was a team, and for Matty Curtis as well, to see a lot of these young fellas from here, there, and everywhere coming to play.
Which
a couple
were
older
probably
heads.
really babies when they were playing for really young.
Weren't old enough to play for Biggerton when they were playing. I know Ben Buxma, he would have been turning 18 the year.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was playing footy then. So a lot of these young fellas that have lived in Biggerton their whole life, they're going to get to watch a home game.
Yeah.
And I think this home game is going to rally up a lot of other young fellas that are around the town that are still working.
Well, Trish did say there were a few fellas there last night not signed up, but like keen to play but hadn't finished signing up. So I feel like if a push is needed to sign up, it'll be having to watch and not play this afternoon.
Matty also said he had a few fellas G'd up and said, "I'll just come this Friday," because he knew there was going to be a lot of numbers. So there's going to be a lot of people biting at the bit round one to get a spot. There's been a lot of training done. All the boys are a lot fitter than they were at the start of the year, and I don't think the Nines was a reflection of how we're going to go on the field today. So
no, and like we said, the Nines is a totally different game, and it's not like all them Biggerton games. They weren't all 15-0 hidings, like you scored points. A really good game against Monto, really good game against Taroom. I think it was unfortunate that he's come up against Wando, who are one of the stronger sides, at the very last fixture of the day.
I think we went really well against Gayndah as well. Gayndah scored a try on basically with 10 seconds to go.
Yes.
And we were only one try behind at that point.
Exactly,
so I think we were very competitive all day. That Wando game, we had a really big break. There was a lot of sore bodies out there, and we couldn't make finals. So
exactly. It didn't really matter, whereas they were sort of pushing to have a really good game, knowing that they had made finals. So
made a lot of fellas run more metres than they probably should have. So.
But I think it's going to be great. I'm really excited. I'm emceeing. That's just my forte. So that'll be good, doing the emceeing, scoreboard, announcement, etc. So
and you'll be selling stubby coolers.
We'll have we're set up right next to the bar, which is perfect. So we'll have our coolers set up there. We'll have the Bopper mobile, the Bopper phone going around. I think we've got a little assistant, Will Smith, coming with us today.
We might get a little bit of a canteen review today. I got Trish prepared last night, let her know that we're going to be asking some questions. They're media prepped. We'll have a look at the bar prices and see what they got.
Yeah. No, so really exciting. But back on that, I think it's just going to be very full circle. We know we've been to a few clubs and within club rebuilds, and coming back to Wandai when they were in the middle of, not in the middle, but starting their club rebuild, and Dad really jumping on and leading the A-grade rebuild, and myself coming in doing the female stuff and being really successful in both of them. It just is I can remember with that Wandai girls team and, getting it started and then winning was just, I could cry right now. Like, it was just the greatest thing. So I can't imagine these Biggertons. Like, 6 years is a long time, and especially knowing you could have a team, but you don't want to start a club if you're the only one helping. You can't play with 11 players. So, just them finally.
I think they really did the right thing by waiting. Yeah. They probably could have tried to come back a couple years early, but they waited. They got the players. They got the interest. They got the staff.
Yeah.
They got everything worked out.
Yeah. And they're still, even now, they're not doing it with just one coach and 10 players. Look, they've got everyone. Heaps of invested coaching staff, heaps of invested committee. Like, the grounds looks phenomenal. The fellas doing the line marking and the field prep. Like, it's just so full circle. And I just think when they run out this afternoon, it's just going to be absolutely, I know what it feels like. So for them, I'm just so excited for them to be able to feel it. And no one's playing for sheep stations, obviously, but it's going to be so good for them to just be playing, irregardless of what happens in the game. It's just a trial game, but to be out there playing a full game, it's not nines. Yeah, so I just reckon it's going to be a huge crowd. And last night the training was huge, and we went to the pub afterwards. It was such a good feeling in the pub. They're really excited about after the game, everyone going in there and seeing everyone. And
the boys can't wait. Boys are chomping at the bit. Yeah. Last night, fellas were hitting holes, and we were doing some plays, and we were getting some quick rucks, and we had to tell them to slow down about 8 times. Everyone was just too keen to go. It's going to be. I think that's going to be the year-long mentality, getting around each other and backing each other up. That's how Biggerton got their team back. It sounds a bit cliche, but that's what rugby league is, and that's how you get clubs going. So thanks to all the people that have gotten this going for us, gotten the behind the scenes, the staff, the changeover. I know there was a lot of fucking around behind the scenes to get everything changed over into other people's hands.
Yeah.
And today we're gonna make the community proud. I think regardless of the score, there's gonna be some hits, there's gonna be some really proud moments, and don't doubt we're gonna be scoring some points.
Yeah. So God, it's gonna just be absolutely surreal. So very exciting. So that's 5:30 kickoff, 4 o'clock gates open.
6:30 kickoff?
No, 5:30.
5:30 kickoff?
4 o'clock gates open, 5:30 kickoff. I think they're playing quarters, which I assume will be 20.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, 20-minute quarters at 5:30. It's going to be good. Not in the heat, not going short. So,
and we've only got 18 forwards in the team, so I don't think there'll be a lot of interchanges.
Unlimited interchange, obviously.
Great.
That's a big bonus.
I think a lot of fellas are going to fly out there a lot harder than they think they can go, and after 2 or 3 minutes,
yeah,
be very happy. There's no number cards, so
no, that'll be good. I'm happy with that.
Hopefully, we see you there this afternoon tonight, and hopefully you stick around for a beer afterwards. Come have a chat to us and buy some stubby coolers. And as for that, that's episode 4 of the Bushwhoppers Rugby League Footy Show. Done and dusted.